Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about Danny Rand, aka Iron Fist, specifically Iron Fist from the Netflix TV show Iron Fist, because I'm not that familiar with Iron Fist from the comic books, because I'm sure his TV adaptation version is very different from who he was in the comic books, because I've talked about this before, that prior to the TV show, like my only other experience with the character of Iron Fist is Iron Fist from the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, and that's a very different version too, so that's why I'm kind of chalking that all together. So, but there's also, like, obviously there's been many years of different Iron Fist variations anyway. So before I get too far into this video, let me know that this will be me talking about spoilers from season 1 and season 2. So if you're not completely caught up, don't watch this video because I will spoil things for you. So to me, one of the things I enjoyed most about Danny, and I think it's such a fascinating thing about his character in the TV show, is that he is what I'd consider a broken, or maybe lost would be a more appropriate word, hero. In the sense of, like, everything that happened to Danny, from like his parents, you know, dying in that plane crash, and he's kind of left alone in Kunlun where he's being raised by these monks and being put through everything he was put through. To me, the thing that I always thought was kind of so interesting is the fact is he became a hero. He became the Iron Fist because he thought it would fill that hole in his heart. That the fact of the matter is it would kind of do something for him, but like everything from his fight with Shao the dragon to becoming an Iron Fist, none of it was what he thought it was, because it gave him purpose when he was kind of lost and purposeless. Like, you know, it's just because he lost his parents and then he never really had time to really deal with it. So that's why a lot of season 1 he's so angry, because for one, it's like he comes back to New York, the life that he thought he could kind of just pick up with, like, moved on without him. He was dead for so long. The people he thought were his family, the Meachums, turned out not to be, and that turned into the complicated situation it was. Then the whole thing with Harold, it's just betrayal upon betrayal, plus finding out like Harold had something to do with his parents' death. So there's that anger there. Then there's also like, oh, you are the Iron Fist, your duty is to destroy the hand, which is interesting because I think typically the Iron Fist is meant to more so represent balance, but in this it's just like, no, you are the defender of Kunlun, you have to destroy the hand, that is your only mission, nothing else matters. But that led to the conflict in Danny, because it's like figuring out who he was. Is he Danny Rand, the boy who's come back home, or is he the Iron Fist? And struggling with those dual sides of himself, I think, was such an interesting thing, and I think that played a big role in his character across both seasons, and even including stuff in Defenders too. It's like every time you see Danny was always trying to find the next like mission, or at the very least next purpose in his life. At first it's like, okay, he dealt with his family pain, so that anger wasn't there as much in him, but he still had the whole, then he went on to, oh man, the hand, like that's what all Defenders was about, like dealing with the hand after season 1 of Iron Fist, where Kunlun was destroyed because he wasn't there. So it's the responsibilities of like, I wasn't there to perform my duties as the Iron Fist, and Kunlun is gone. And then on top of that, there's this whole situation now where I have to destroy the hand because it's my duty as the Iron Fist, but also because I want revenge for what you did to my home. And then he gets passed on the mantle from Matt at the end of at the end of Defenders, where he's like, Matt's like, hey, protect my city. And I think that's so fascinating because, like, obviously, like, he did do that. He kept fighting crime. He tried to keep the city safe in his own way. And then eventually he admits it even to Colleen that, hey, I'm thinking, like, I didn't have the best intentions when I did this whole thing of like, oh, trying to be the hero, like Matt wanted me to be to defend this city. Like, and I'm using this as an excuse. Like at the beginning, yeah, I wanted to keep that mission alive because of Matt, because the hand was gone, so now he didn't really have a mission. But hey, Matt gave me this mission, so hey, I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to defend the city, I'm trying to do good. But at the same time, it's like it was just an excuse for him. Maybe like I said at the beginning, he had the best of intentions, but eventually it just turned into the whole thing of like, I just wanted an excuse to use the Iron Fist. He admits that about himself, that this isn't about like some grand mission or whatever. Like he was so still lost, desperate to find a mission, just, you know, to find his purpose. And, you know, it's made him kind of think like, maybe even this whole thing with me trying to help the city, like, yeah, I want to help people, but, you know, like who I am with the Iron Fist isn't, you know, it's kind of seductive, because I just like it because it makes me feel powerful. And, you know, he needed, you know, eventually that played out to the way the story did, where he's like, I he'd rather Colleen have the Iron Fist because he felt like he couldn't really be trusted with it, because it's just like, I just want an excuse to use. Because there's even a moment in season 2 where they were fighting the guys at the restaurant. Danny summons up the Iron Fist and Colleen literally had to stop him, like, what are you doing? Because it became so natural to him. It felt so good to use it that's why he decided not to do it. He didn't want it anymore because of that. To me, I think that's the most fascinating thing about Danny's character in the TV show in that regard to me. And so that does make me wonder, what would Danny, because you know, Danny went to the next mission too, because after everything dealt with Davos, he immediately jumped into something else. So like for him, it's just the mission. He's still like trying to figure out who he is, trying to figure out what it means to be the Iron Fist and stuff like that, you know, and find his own purpose in the world, and whether or not, you know, it's right for him to have the Iron Fist, which later on we see at the end of season 2 he gets dual Iron Fist at the end. It's like, okay, so what happened to him in that time frame? Like, what was it, like the 6-month time skip at the end? Because sadly, as we know, Iron Fist was canceled, so it's not coming back for a 3rd season. But granted, that doesn't change the fact is, and that's kind of been a conversation of like, hey, there's still the rest of the other Netflix Marvel shows, so it still has room where those characters could still pop up. We could even see Danny kind of pop up in other areas. So I'd be so curious to see where he would go next, because like I said, like every time you see Danny, he's a different person. When he was comparing him from season 1 of Iron Fist to who he was in Defenders, to who he was in like the one episode he pops up in Luke Cage, to who he is in Iron Fist season 2, like Danny's always a changing person, and I think that kind of fits with his story, and I just think that's kind of a fascinating thing. So I'd be so interested to see like what Danny will look like in the next state that we see him go. We get a little bit of him at the end of that, you know, at that 6-month skip, but it's like, what about beyond that? Like, what did he discover in that time? Like, you know, that all depends on how they want to flow Danny's story going forward. Obviously, these are just some of my thoughts about Danny as a character. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good